Hi, I'm Britt.
And my name is Alissa.
And this is SkeleTales.
And this is the podcast where we strive to answer the age-old question of, is my dead grandma watching me?
That's right. And we tell true tales of the strange, unusual, and paranormal.
Heck yeah, we do. Britt, what are we talking about this week?
I'm pretty excited about this week. I think, even though I say that every week, we're talking about haunted hotels. The places you go and stay and have haunted experiences.
Maybe are you explaining what hotels are? The places you go and stay when you leave your home. I was in a hotel for 12 days recently.
Yes,
wasn't haunted.
You were. Ah, damn it.
But we did have a fire drill during the middle of the night. That was the closest, so that was scary to be on the 15th floor and the fire.
Did the ghost pull the fire alarm?
Very possibly. They said it was a flood. I have no idea. That place was like a mess. It wasn't a mess. I won't name the name, but it was not like in
top
great
notch.
shape. Yeah, it wasn't top notch, basically. I wish I had a haunted hotel experience because that would be perfect.
Well, you know what? I'm going to give you one right now.
Okay, sack it to me.
Hopping into it. I'm going to start by telling you about the hotel, and then I'm going to tell you this person's story. So I have this information from krqe.com. They say the St. James Hotel in Cimarron, New Mexico might be one of the most haunted hotels in the state. Henry Lambert bought the property in 1870. At the time, it was a small eatery and parlor. He saw a good thing going and went all in and They did not write that very well. Okay. He saw a good thing going and went all in. Eventually, by 1880, he added the second floor and did a grand reopening, becoming known as the St. James Hotel. However, this hotel was known for its violence. A common question asked was, who was killed at Lambert's last night? St. James fell into disrepair for decades until Cimarron native Edward Sitzberger purchased the hotel in 1985, restoring the property, and that's when the St. James Hotel became notorious for another reason. The front desk manager, Thea Maestas, says guests have reported hearing boots walking on the hallways and tapping on room 17. The hotel thrives in still holding up its old Western ambiance. If you're in the mood to take a trip to Cimarron, make sure to visit the St. James Hotel. Well, I have a story from a fella named James, ironically.
All right.
James says, my wife and I were staying the night. So sorry. This is such a good story. My wife and I were staying the night and doing an informal investigation at the haunted Hotel St. James in Cimarron, New Mexico. I was a paranormal investigator for about 16 years. Also, I am what I call mildly psychic. My role with the investigative team was to use my gift to find the hot spots at the places we investigated. We would then discuss with the property owner where we would set up our main equipment. I was, on average, about 70% accurate. In this case, this was a one-off trip with just myself and my wife. I'd been told by several people to visit this place. That night, my wife and I ate dinner at the hotel and then had some drinks at the bar and spent the night. I ate a steak for dinner, but she had had some very spicy green chili smothered enchiladas. Fast forward to about 2 a.m., I hear the sound of someone walking around in our room. But it's just her and I, and she's still asleep in bed right next to me. And the door's been locked since we got back to our room. I hear them come over and stand next to me on the bed. Oh, they're not on the bed. They're standing next to them on the bed. They even bumped up against it. And then I felt like they were bending forwards to look over us. At that exact time, my wife lets out this enormous fart, and I feel the presence next to me jerk back from the bed, and then the smell hits me. And let's just say it was extremely potent. I swear I heard a voice say, "Good God." At that point, I start laughing and I open my eyes and there's no one there. I get out of bed to turn on the lamp and check the door. And it's still locked and no one is there. My wife wakes up and at this point smells the fart, then immediately blames me. I spent nearly the whole next day laughing. The funniest thing was that the resident ghost at the hotel was supposed to be this badass cold stone killer outlaw from the 1800s. Apparently he wasn't that badass, or maybe he just never had an experience with a woman like that before. So James is a true delight, and I told another story that's not hotel related, but worth sharing. Is it okay if I sneak in a quick little story?
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah. We make our own rules.
James tells a story. It says, I was doing an investigation in an old historic elementary school in Austin, Texas. One of the quote-unquote known spirits in the building was a mischievous 6-year-old boy who tried to climb out of a window and then fell to his death. He was known to haunt the boys' bathroom, leaving the faucets running and randomly flushing toilets. While trying to get an interaction, we offered this boy some chocolate M&Ms. I got video of him actually moving some of the candy. This was in the cafeteria room on the same floor as the boys' bathroom. Separately, at the same time, there were a group of 3 college girls that were investigating the boys' bathroom. Suddenly, they start yelling. When we ran out to see what was going on, one of the girls had a camera and the lens was streaked with what looked like brown smudges. They were convinced that the boy had wiped their lens with feces. One of the people in my group asked to see the camera. They sniffed it and then tasted the stuff on the lens. The girls recoiled in horror. Turns out, on the lens was a chocolate M&M. Smeared chocolate M&M.
Oh, way better than feces.
Lens. Way better. But the person who licked it did not know that.
Well, are we sure that's feces?
Let's... Oh, chocolate!
Ooh, little sad baby boy ghost.
I know.
But he wants his chocolate. That sounds mischievous. Oh,
totally mischievous. I love it. Okay, that's it for St. James and stories by James.
Love it. Stories. Oh my gosh. I thought you were going to say the wife had to get up in the middle of the night. I'm like, oh, that's a different kind of fire drill. 2 a.m. But
from the spicy enchiladas.
I've never considered if ghosts can smell.
Me neither. And we don't know if the ghost actually smelled it or if they said, "Good God," because a woman ripped a good one.
Oh, because it was super loud. But
yeah. Although James did say that the smell was pretty potent. So yeah.
Ghost repellent. Bottle that shit. Bottle it.
It smells like a fart, just spraying farts all over your room.
Yeah. What's that? I got a ghost problem. Why does your house smell like shit? Oh. Just trying to keep the ghosts away. That would keep me away as a ghost.
Yeah.
That would work. Yeah, it would work. That would keep me away as a human, too. That's just a great repellent for all.
You know what? All human and ghosts alike repellent.
Yeah.
Shit spray.
Bottled shit spray. Well, great story. I love it. Love it.
Thank you.
I have a story about a haunted hotel as well. And this is from the Wheats. And they actually bought a haunted hotel. So this story dates back to the late 90s. I, a male, 15 around the time, was living in Bournemouth, UK with my family. This story dates back to the late 90s. I, a male, 15 around the time, was living in Bournemouth, UK with my family. My parents purchased a Victorian hotel, 9 guest bedrooms, and we moved into the hotel owner's accommodation. My parents had their room on the ground floor, and my brother and I had a room each in the basement.
Oh, that doesn't sound terrifying.
The hotel was a nice place. It had a happy feel to it, except in certain areas. There was one room, 7, on the top floor that had a strange vibe when inside it. Whilst cleaning this room, there was a closeness, as if all the air around was closing in on you, and a ring in your ears that only really became apparent when you left the room itself. I always kept the door open when I worked in this room and was happy when I got to leave. We will come back to this room later. Within the first few months living in the hotel, it was apparent to the whole family that things were happening that could not be explained by everyday logic. The large old doors around the hotel were heavy and had been fitted with auto closers for fire safety reasons. This made it generally difficult to open them at times, particularly when carrying trays and hotel supplies. However, often we would be walking through parts of the hotel and a door would swing open. We would expect someone to walk out of the connecting room, but there would be no one there. Another occurrence experienced by my entire family at some point or another was the feeling of being hit by a sudden gust of wind, even when in a room with all doors and windows closed. We are not talking about a little breeze. This was like someone held a large rotary fan up to our face and put it on maximum power. Then, after the wind stopped, there would be a strong smell of a gingery aftershave.
Wow.
The first major incident we had involved room 7. A couple and their 10-year-old daughter were staying in the room. After dinner, the parents went to the bar for some drinks, but the daughter was bored, so wanted to go and watch TV in their room, so she did. All was fine until another guest entered the bar area and asked if anyone was staying in room 7, as they could hear someone screaming in that room. My parents and the girl's parents ran upstairs and went into the room and found the daughter sitting up in the bed in a flood of tears. When asked what was wrong, she said she had fallen asleep and then woken up to see a man standing in the room. My parents asked what the man looked like, thinking it was one of the other guests in the hotel, but the description she gave was of a tall man wearing a top hat and that he had his hair down the sides of his face, but not a beard. She effectively described a Victorian man with sideburns. Her parents asked where he went, but she didn't know. When she woke up, he told her to stay in bed and go back to sleep. That is when she said she started screaming, and when she looked back up, he was gone. They searched the hotel, but no one was found, and none of the guests came close to matching the description. They put it down to a bad dream, but my family were sure there was more to it than that. Not that we ever talked to the guests about the supernatural occurrences. We figured it would cause more issues if people actively knew. It was a few months before the next sighting. The ground floor layout of the hotel was quite basic. There was a main lobby area, and off from that were different rooms, lounge, dining room, kitchen, etc. The bar was part of an old extension only accessible through the dining room. This meant that if you were sat in a certain position in the bar, you could see directly through the dining room and then into the main lobby and stairs area. A guest was sat having a drink in that exact spot when she turned to my mom standing behind the bar and excitedly said, "Oh, you're having a wedding party in?" Mom was quite confused and asked what the guest was referring to. The guest said that a man wearing a full top hat and tails had just walked down the stairs. My mom moved round beside the bar and looked out of the window towards the entrance of the hotel, at which point the guest said, "Oh, he didn't go that way. He went down to the right side of the stairs." What the guest didn't know was the right side of the stairs led to our private quarters. Mom and Dad went to check, but there was no one there. And although there were ways out of the building, they were locked and bolted from the inside, so no one could have exited through them without it showing. Another common occurrence in the hotel was the sound of running. When on the ground floor, you would hear running upstairs. This was not surprising when the hotel had guests. In an old Victorian hotel, every sound was heard and magnified. But over the Christmas break, we would shut the upper floors of the hotel and just have family time. But the running around would continue still. It was so loud at one point that we were sure someone had broken in. My brother, Dad, and I even went upstairs clutching kitchen knives for safety. But after unlocking and checking the rooms, no one was up there. A guest started staying long-term at the hotel. I don't recall what his job was, but he had business some of the year in Bournemouth, and certain other days he had to travel into London. On London days, he would need to be out of the hotel by 5 a.m. Mum would leave him out a continental breakfast. He would help himself to it and be gone before we woke up, returning later in the evening. One day, when returning from London, he was chatting to my parents, and he said something strange had happened when he left the hotel that morning. He had come out of his room as usual and was surprised to see a boy stood on the half landing leading up to the top floor of the hotel. The man was not used to seeing someone up at 4:30, but being polite, he said good morning to the boy. He said the boy did not say anything. Instead, he just turned and slowly walked up the top floor. The man thought it was strange, but carried on with his normal morning routine. My parents were puzzled by this and asked him what the boy had looked like. He said he was around 8 to 9 years old, but could not recall what the boy was wearing. The reason my parents were confused was because at the time, we had no children staying in the hotel. Many months later, whilst serving breakfast, a guest came into the dining room and quite loudly asked my mom, "Is this hotel haunted?" All the other guests stopped eating, intrigued by the question and even more so by what the answer would be. My mom played it cool, simply saying, "Why do you ask?" The lady replied that she had woken up in the night and there was a boy stood in her room. She said hello to the boy and he vanished. Mum acted surprised and said it was the first she had heard of anything like that, again playing it down in front of all the listening ears. The final incident involved me. I had been saving my money up to buy a watch, a storm watch to be precise. I had finally managed to get enough money together and had made my way to town to pick it up. It was my first expensive purchase, if I recall, around 90 pounds at the time. When it was time to go to bed, I took the watch off and went to put it on the bedside table. However, in each room, there were internal phones next to the bed. This was in case my parents needed our help or guests were checking in, so we could be called to assist. The bedside table in my room was so small, the phone took up all the space. For that reason, I decided to lay the watch over the receiver of the phone and hope no one called me in the middle of the night. My bed was one of those large metal bunk beds. It had a single bed on the top and a sofa bed below that folded out into a small double. I slept on the bottom, partly because it was a double, but realistically because the ceiling was so low you could not physically sleep up top anyway. I remember being woken in the middle of the night to the loudest clanging metal sound as my whole bed shook. It felt and sounded as though someone had taken a run and jump and landed on the metal ladder of the bed. I was facing the wall at the time and remember the utter fear I felt. I would say it is the only time in my life I have been frozen in fear. No part of me would move. I just lay there too scared to turn over and see what had caused the entire bed to shake. I am not sure I would have been able to call for my brother, but he was away at PGL summer camp, so could not have helped me anyway. I lay there for hours just staring at the wall. Finally, the light shone down the basement window and filled my room. I plucked up the courage to turn and look, and thankfully there was nothing there. I sat up in bed, and the first thing I noticed was the watch was gone from the top of the phone. I searched around the floor thinking maybe it had slid off. Then I thought about the noise my bed had made, as if someone had jumped on it. Slowly peering up to the top bed, there in the middle of the mattress was my watch. No. I guess the little boy had wanted to play with it too. My mom went on to research the local history of the hotel. She was able to find out a doctor had lived there when it was first built as a house. And during this time, there was a young boy that had died from an illness. But I can't remember the details of exactly how. We owned the hotel for many years before selling it. It was later converted into flats, and I often wonder if they still have any occurrences.
Oh, that's so good. I love it.
It made me remember that one story I told from the old timey newspaper about the haunted house with the rabbits.
Yes.
And the old woman. Was that in Bournemouth too, or Bourne? And then I'm like, oh, is this the same house? I wonder, wouldn't that be wild if it was the same house from like the 1800s and then this person owned it as a hotel? Like, That's just my imagination.
Different ghosts, though. In the
that would
be pretty cool.
But when it first started off, no, the other ghost sounded way scarier. This one didn't sound quite as scary.
Yeah, that's so good. As a child, I would have loved to lived in a hotel.
Oh my God.
And like, especially an old Victorian one. That would have been a dream.
With secret passages.
Detective. Yes.
I wanted nothing more than secret passages in my house growing up.
Same.
Hard.
Same. I even was like, I would go into the linen closet and like knock on the back and be like, knock, knock. Oh, is there a secret passage behind this?
Right?
like no. This house was built in 1984. Like,
yeah, that exactly mine too. There was like no space for secret. I don't know. It would have been cool if there were, though, right? I want to say my aunt and uncles, they didn't have a secret It was more like a kind of a long basement, but it felt like a secret passage. And that one was the closest we got. So it was like, ooh, our cobbling room. Maybe now I want to build a secret passage in my house.
My aunt built her house. Her husband's a contractor. And so they were able to like create it exactly how they want. And in their office, they have the secret bookshelf that opens up into another room. And I'm like, yes, if I ever build a house, it will have secret rooms and secret passageways just to fulfill that childhood dream.
I do know someone who has a secret room, but they built it because they were the victim of a home invasion when they were younger.
Oh, no.
And it was really traumatizing. And so that's why they have it. It's a panic room. I see them on TikTok and stuff. People have panic rooms. I'm like, why are you showing me this? This should be a secret. Just as the same as like, hey, everybody, listeners, I'm going to be building a secret room in my house and a secret tunnel.
Yeah. Yeah.
That defeats the purpose. But I think I ended up seeing it because Sandra Bullock, the actress, apparently she had a home invasion like 10 years ago or something. A dude was in her house. There's a 911 recording. And they're like, where are you? She's like, I'm in my closet. I'm in a panic room in my closet. Like they had a secret room.
Oh, like
and that's
she
went.
could like lock that shit down.
And that's what she did. She ran in there and she's like, it was the one night that my son wasn't with me. He's always with me. But it was this night that I was working late. The nanny is like, you know what? Just let me take him home. And she's like, if he had been home, I would have run to his room. And it would have been a completely different outcome for us. But yeah, I mean, it's a horrible, like intense. Like she's obviously panicked because some fucking psycho stalker broke into her house, imagining that they were husband and wife and that she was avoiding him. And oh my God. So I'm not building a panic room.
No. Oh, big wink. No, never panic room. Nope. I mean, logically, a panic room makes more sense. Mine will probably be a secret library.
Yes, so, like a magic thing.
Yes, and there'll be like some twinkle lights and like a soft chair to read in.
Yes.
Yep, and then I'm going to have one that's just like a secret tunnel between two rooms, so you can like crawl through this little tunnel.
You are in the market for a new house pretty soon, huh?
Oh, yeah. Maybe that can be one of my requirements for the new house.
Your realtor's going to love you. Here's what I need.
I need a panic room, but also the secret library room, and then a tunnel.
Yeah, secret passages required.
Oh, she's like, I quit. I
don't know. You got some preppers down in those parts. You never know what you might find.
It's true.
But it's going to be on, if it exists, it's going to be on Redfin and everyone is going to know about the secret room. The secret room is not secret if you tell everyone and show everyone. Anyway, mercy. Do you have another story, my friend?
I do.
Okay.
This one comes from Brittany Shane. I met Brittany Shane, golly, how long ago was that? 10 years ago, I want to say. She is a Austin musician and she was looking for some design work and had asked me to help with some posters and stuff. And then we totally hit it off. She's a badass chick. She knows about the podcast and emailed me and was like, hey, my brother has a story.
Yay!
Yeah!
Love it. Is that the flyer that you did for her recently with like a guitar and some flowers and stuff? Yes, I remember. It was very pretty. Very cool. Okay.
She is the bee's knees. So her brother wrote her he was in town in Austin for South by Southwest with his wife, Jade. And they were staying in an iconic hotel called Hotel San Jose that is right on South Congress. Have you heard of South Congress in Austin? It's famous. It's like touristy now. But so this boutique hotel is newly renovated, super cute. I ended up staying in this hotel a few years ago with a friend of the podcast, Kendall. We had a girl staycation day where we like stayed in this boutique hotel, swam in the pool, and then went and saw some like live music later. I did not realize, apparently, this hotel is haunted. So Dustin tells Brittany that he and his wife are getting ready in their hotel room with the closet door open. They saw some movement by the closet and they both turned to look. They see a child slowly crawl out of the closet on all fours. Then it grabs the edge of the open closet door and pulls it closed shut as he crawls back into the closet. Closes the closet door. So they both look at each other and Dustin says, "Did you just see that?" And Jade said, "Yes." And they both noped the hell right out of that room. Goodbye. So he was so creeped out by this experience that he immediately had to text his sister to tell them. And then she immediately emailed me about it, as one should. And I, very excited about this story because it's creepy as
that is.
shit.
That's the creepiest thing the kid could do. How do they know it wasn't a real kid, though?
I don't know. Regardless of whether it was a ghost or a real child, no.
And I'm picturing it to be the Ring girl, like the creepiest, like dirty, like her hands are like doing a weird clawed, like closing. Oh God, that's very creepy. They both saw it.
Yes. So I researched the hotel a little bit because I wanted to know, like, has anybody else had a haunted experience? Yeah. I have not found anything online. Okay. I did message also friend of the podcast, Monica Ballard, who is the ghost tour guide in Austin. And so I'll let you know if she has any information that I was not able to find. Apparently, the hotel was built in the 1930s as a motor inn, and then in the 1950s, a roadside motel. And South Austin at that time fell into disrepair. The motel acted as a low-rent lodging for many vagrants, addicts, and people just down on their luck. And the hotel was purchased by Lisa Lambert in 1994, who bought it for something like $500,000, which is ludicrous to think about now. But it was pretty run down at the time, and she had plans to renovate, but then financial setbacks, and eventually she was able to start the renovations in the early 2000s. So she ended up making a documentary about those years from 94 to the 2000s, where it still ran as like a low-rent lodging for people down on their luck, called The Last Days of San Jose. And it's just her daily interactions with the residents who had nowhere else to go. And then when they started renovations, they were just like, sorry, like goodbye. And it, totally gentrified now, South Congress. It's like super touristy, lots of boutiques and like higher end cafes and stuff. But yeah, for a really long time, it was kind of like a rundown place for, down on their luck people who are going through bad times and in dire circumstances. So like, it makes me wonder though, if this is like a ghost child, like in a closet, if that has something to do with that weird trauma of the hotel.
Yeah, like it almost makes me like when I think of like really shitty budgety hotels, I think of like trafficking. It's kind of one thing I think of. And then if someone,
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, sorry, bring that down.
I was thinking like maybe a single mom who has to work nights and can't afford childcare, so their child has to like stay in the hotel room and sleep in the closet? I don't know.
Right. Or is it a real kid that just didn't have anywhere else to go and
Oh my God.
just went back and lived in the closet? Like, and I was like, I just got to close the door. They won't see me. I'm just going to close. I'm not here. I'm invisible. And they just ran away. They didn't even investigate. I don't know what I would do. I think I would probably nope out, depending.
I want to know. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, actually, I'm looking at pictures, and this looks quite lovely. This
it's
what it is now. Yeah, it
now.
looks really nice.
Yeah, it's super trendy. I don't know if hipster is a word anymore, but like, yeah, it's very like up and coming. There's like cactuses everywhere and colorful blankets, and you can get like the expensive sparkling water and that kind of thing.
It's
That's
super
what makes it fancy.
You get sparkling water there. The water sparkles. It's got bubbles in it.
It's special.
No, this I was picturing more of like a. They call them ramblers here, just a one level long motor inn, but this is like a couple stories. It's got a kind of southwestern vibe to it.
Yes,
the clay tile roof. But yeah, I mean, I understand it's what you're saying. That at some point it was just real creepy. I wanted a picture of the closet. Show me the closet. What if there's a little kid in the closet? I wonder if they don't notice.
Oh, there's like a photo and there's like, you see two glowing eyes.
Yeah, or just some like fingers or like toes sticking out right underneath the crack. Ooh, I love it. I hate it. Now I want to stay here because this looks warm, Britt. It looks real warm down there in
sunny.
Austin.
Oh, and there's like a pool you can lounge by. I miss the sun so much.
I know. Sorry. We were just talking about that before we started recording, how much Britt is missing the sunshine.
And warmth. So in honor of Brittany Shane sharing this story with us, we're going to end the podcast playing one of her songs called Over Your Shoulder, which is a little spooky song for us.
Oh.
I actually don't know if it's spooky themed, but it's a really good song.
I love that idea. Ooh, and over your shoulder. I mean, that's what I'm always doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Looking over your shoulder.
Maybe this will inspire other musicians who want their song played at the end of an episode to write in some stories. Maybe stuff they heard from a friend, sibling, neighbor. Yes.
That's a good idea, Britt. Look at you.
Mm-hmm.
Marketing genius.
If anybody does happen to have a story to share, we have an email that you can write into our hotbox.
Heck yeah, we do. It's skeletalspodcast@gmail.com. We also have a hotline you can call.
302-689-DEAD, 302-689-3323. And that is where you just leave a voicemail. And sometimes we just like to receive voicemails that are just for funsies. Like, hey, think you're great. Or, hey, that last story scared the shit out of me. Or, hey, I stayed in a haunted hotel one time.
Heck yeah.
Anything. We love to hear all of them.
Yes. We are also on all the social medias. You can find us on Facebook, our Facebook community, SkeleTales community, Instagram. We'd love for you to write us a review. It has been a long minute since we've gotten a review.
I can't believe I forgot to tell you.
Did we get a
have
review?
Hit the charts again.
Oh,
Alissa.
Yay. Okay.
Are you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
We're in the top 100 podcasts under the society culture in the Philippines.
Oh, my goodness. Right. Really?
Mm-hmm. Top 100.
Have we told any stories about the Philippines? Anything set in the Philippines? A couple, like maybe onesie twosies, but nothing. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, maybe we'll have to.
I know. Perhaps.
I actually have one right away, I think, off the top of my brain that I know that there's a pretty scary spot there, that a haunted spot, a famous haunted spot. So maybe we'll do one in the Philippines. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. And hello to our Filipino listeners.
Yes. Hello.
Yes.
We also have a merch shop filled with fun goodies and even some haunted objects. That is over at Etsy at SkeleTalesPodcast.etsy.com.
Also, we just started a YouTube, I think. We're starting to load our stuff up on YouTube. So go over there and subscribe as well, please. Even if you don't listen over there, you know.
We're posting some fun videos that you might like to watch over there.
Yeah. Anything else, Britt? Have we hit it all?
There's one last one.
Okay.
You can become a Patreon member for SkeleTales and help promote the show that way for as little as $1 a month. That is on patreon.com with looking.
Killing it. Killing it.
Dib heard of a hair. That is. That's patreon.com/SkeleTales podcast. I think that is everything. That is everything ever that we even want to talk about, right?
I think so. Just, leave a review, tell a friend, ask for stories. We want to hear them all. We love to freak each other out. I think that's it. Oh, wait. No. There was one more thing I want to tell you, Britt.
What?
Hunt you later.
Hunt y'all later.
Good night.
Good night.